everybody! So I have a special request today. This is going to be a 60-minute long soul rebirth journey. This is actually a gift for a long lost friend. This friend is kind of this, you know how sometimes you know people and then suddenly it's like they fall off the face of the earth. They just go through life changes and we just don't know what happened to them, but we still think about them even if it's 10 years later. Well, this person, his name is Jonathan. He made a really big impression. But we don't know what happened to Jonathan. It's just a very kind gesture to share energy work, to give a gift to his soul, to say thank you for what you shared with me in my life. And so that's all that I can say about that for right now. I'm actually going to just chill out. I'm going to relax and I'll see what my spirit guides have to say as maybe more of an introduction to this video before I get connected. So a few background details. So this person, Jonathan, we're not sure what happened to him, but he had a really big, beautiful heart, was an amazing, just amazing, wise person. Also transformed from being what would be like a medical doctor into being a spiritual healer, and was so generous and would heal people without asking for anything monetary in return. And so that's a little bit more background. So there's a question, because this person has gone kind of disappeared, but we don't know if it's like, you know, maybe he's just, you know, he just went off the grid or something like that. But there's, you know, is he okay? Is he still with us on Earth, or did he transition or something? That's also part of the questions. So for me, we'll see what Spirit has to share on that. I won't know. I don't know if I'm gonna know for sure an answer to that question. I'm gonna go into various timelines, whatever Spirit has to share, whatever his higher self finds to be the most valuable experience, and then we'll just go with that. This is a bit of a choppy introduction, so bear with me. I'm trying to think of the best way to let you guys know what this journey is all about, and give you a little bit of background in case we come across some unique sort of twist to the story as I do this journey work. So I want to make sure that I have my ducks in a row, and you guys have a little bit of awareness before I get started. So I'm just gonna ask my spirit guides if there's anything I might have missed here. They just want to reiterate, this session was ordered for Jonathan, and we don't know really what happened to Jonathan, but super awesome soul, super beautiful soul, and it's this is a gift to somebody who's kind of missing from our lives, and we just want to share love on a level that it felt like the love was shared in return. So I feel good. I'm just gonna relax now and get started here. I'm just slowing down my energy frequency. I'm just relaxing it considerably here. I'm talking to my spirit guides, higher self, just feeling more connection. And then I'm welcoming his higher self and anything, any aspect of Jonathan's consciousness, his soul, anything that I can share a message of love with him, or he could share a message of love in return. However, this is needing to be directed. So I'm still getting in the right frequency here to get started. I will tell you, it's a little bit exhausting and a little shaky. And I feel kind of short of breath, to be honest. I feel like I'm kind of just weak, on the weaker end. It's strange because it's a very unusual feeling for me to just suddenly get this. Because, you know, in my mind it's like, well, am I feeling this way or is he feeling this way? It's very noticeable right now, so I'm just gonna go with it and we'll see what happens next. I'm standing before a really massive, I still feel like really weak in my like upper arms, elbow even. I feel just weak there, weak across my chest. I see a really big black portal. It's dust here, it's black dust in front of a black portal, and then there's red glowing light on the outside. This is really unusual because the black of the portal, this is not smooth. It's really bumpy, but it looks like energy more so than it looks like actual like landscape kind of. It looks like ash too, but it looks like dried ash. It's a very unusual texture and appearance to it. It doesn't on one end look like I could go through this portal, but on another end, I feel confident that it's just an illusion and that I have the power to go anywhere I want in an infinite universe. But the question is, Jonathan, why are you standing in front of a portal that looks so unbalanced and looks like a sore, basically? It looks like a sore with a really black center. And I say, why are you standing here wanting to go through this portal? He actually turns around and looks back, and we see the planet Earth, and he's standing on like a brown rock. It's just like a brown rock just levitating in outer space, and here we are. There's a weird looking portal here. So we look forward, there's a portal, but if we look down, there's planet Earth way down there, and I can see some cloud cover and some clear skies. He's in deep thought, very, very deep thought. In his deep thought, he's trying to he's trying to make a decision basically. He feels caught between two worlds. I say, you want to hold my hand? You want to go back to planet Earth? We discover the rain starts to fall, and it was some sort of weird mirage that was captured in a puddle, and it just disappears. And the raindrops fall into the puddle, and then there's just rings of water that kind of go outward. And I see him sitting on a rock in like the woods, and it's raining on him. He's experiencing the rain falling upon his body as he's extremely deep in thought, but we could be deep in thought. There is the deep in thought, like, oh my God, life is rushing by, or we could be like really deep pondering, like philosophical, spiritual depth, emotional, like soul depth. The experience is like wise, deep soul pondering in the middle of the woods. He tells me that this portal is still here, but he tells me that he thinks about the earth a lot, thinks about balance a lot. He explores the feeling of the raindrops, but it doesn't feel healing to him, like purifying of his soul. But yet it's a beautiful natural experience, but something feels missing, as in you could define as peace of heart, a heart that feels peaceful. For somebody so extraordinary to feel at peace, to sit outside in nature in the rain and to allow the raindrops to fall, he's really not at peace in his heart, and it's inside of his soul. Like it's his soul is not at peace, but it's really deep soul feelings, thoughts, it's really deep on that level. I ask him, where do you belong? Do you belong here? Or do you belong in the portal? Because you need to make a decision, otherwise the portal is going to just follow you everywhere you go. And you need to make a decision. He can't. He simply cannot make a decision right now. Therefore, he's going to stay between two worlds, experiencing Earth, but exploring. There's something about this portal that's a big deal, but he feels it's ever present or ever connected with him by choice as well. So he chooses two things at the same time. Although his heart is so deep and kind of not at rest or unpeaceful, and I mean, this is actually like a natural human feeling for somebody who's extremely wise, to withdraw from society, to go in the middle, become like a recluse in the woods. They're not a recluse in mind or spirit or heart. They might be living like one, but they're quite wise. But there's unrest inside of his heart. I'm telling you, this man, Jonathan, he is so deep, but he actually has to take the time to come back to himself again and celebrate life, because while being really deep, creates expansion and creates awesome connections, with so much awareness. And I mean, universes of awareness. But nobody really understands you, you know? But some people do. But beneath the surface of that, or above the surface of that, there's so much opportunity to embrace life. And don't take it too seriously, or don't get lost in it, you know? Because you could get lost in it if it takes you into a state of unrest with it. What does he need to do to accomplish acceptance or peace of mind? That's the question, and I'm telling you, whatever this dark portal thing is, I don't see anything going in or going out, but it's a sore, it's a wound, it's a reflection of a wound, and it's not balanced, and he's still holding on to it. And I'm telling you, it's deep spiritual related stuff. Most human beings would not even have the ability to process what that's even about. Like, they would just wouldn't compute. But to him, it is his world. It is his reality. It is his identity even. But the spirit realm is really saying, again, and I'm speaking to his deeper consciousness, they're telling him, you have to make a choice to either choose to... It's hard to define, because this deep unrest inside of his soul or inside of his heart, it's actually on a wise level, so who am I to say? But I'm telling you, his happiness will return like that. And what's life really all about? There's time to be wise and deep, but there's also time to rebalance. If we're only one side, then we're not really balanced, are we? Like, we weigh ourselves down one way, and now we're not weighing ourselves down enough, so we're meeting in the middle to create harmony. There's some disharmony because he's weighing himself down too much with a perplexing thing that is unrest. He can't rest with it. Like, his soul is at unrest, but he's very, very wise. I'm really working with him. He just does not... I keep showing him this. I keep showing them this. But he just wants me to choose acceptance of that. But I know better. Just because you're wise doesn't mean you have it all figured out. I know what balance feels like energetically. I know what the frequency of balance feels like. And you are the one that is at unrest. He's ignoring me, and he's changing the subject. He's in fact making it a black scene, so I can't see anything or make out any detail, or it's sort of like the scene is getting eaten away by little dots, and it's just sort of turning into like nothing. He doesn't like it if you were to say there was some sort of imbalance. There's something about... He's very sensitive about this subject. It's sensitive enough that he'd be like, you don't understand me. It's like, maybe you don't understand yourself. I'm going to tell him that and see what he says back to me. I tell him, this is what you just did to my picture In my opinion, my perspective of what balance and harmony is for a wise man such as you would be able to process this interpretation. A wise man such as you would have a response so that we can understand in a way that you can relate to harmony or choosing not harmony, that we can understand why these choices are being made. But all you want to do is just black it out and say, I just want to do whatever I want to do. Humph. So I can respect that, right? And I just say, see ya. Then you don't want me here. I'll just see you later. But their spirit realm is saying there's more to the story. Like the spirit realm is saying, we're just going to remain. So I'm not leaving, but I'm sharing the frequency of, that's your choice and I'm at peace with it. So I'm just going to move on. I shared my peace. There's really nothing else for me to say. He's thinking for a long time about what I'm talking about. He tells me it's been a while since he's actually talked to another human being. So he's not really used to conversation on that like this. It's like he's just it's just sort of like he's needed time to just be in his own world for a while. But sometimes you go into your own world and you realize life is about connection with other souls. And I mean, there's value to every single experience in life. There's even value to choosing to live an entire life with soul unrest. But if you want to live in balance, then you have to go into that and say, why is my soul in unrest? Do I want to continue to feel unrest? Yes, I do. Okay, then we're good. But his soul actually doesn't. His soul doesn't want to feel this way. His soul wants to actually feel harmony. But he can't let go of whatever this black portal is, which is a sore or wound in his soul. But right now he's just simply telling me that it feels like, to him, it feels like socializing activities just aren't a part of his agenda. He's just not socializing. And we're talking, he shows me pictures of what most normal people do, and he's saying I don't do that. So I'm not used to being kind of talked to. I am kicking him, and I'm saying, get up and get on your feet. I'm done with this. I'm getting really loud and pushing him because he needs to wake up. It's not me actually hurting him. It's a gesture of like kicking somebody in the rear that needs a good swift kick in the rear, just simply because you love them and you just want them to just wake up and come to get with the program. Stop this. Stop doing this to yourself. He's doing it to himself. Why is he doing this to himself? It's actually hurting his soul. But it's also wise, but it's also not wise, because wisdom can only be so wise if it is not choosing harmony. Is that insane? As in, what is the definition of wisdom versus the definition of wisdom that goes to insanity? As in, is taking it too far. This is not actually healthy for his soul is suffocating, or his soul is really in grief, to the soul. It has nothing to do with, he lost a loved one, or, somebody he had a breakup, or, this is I'm talking deep spiritual stuff that 99.9% of the world would not understand. But it's deep spiritual stuff. But even deep spiritual stuff and a deep person like this would also understand the importance and value of harmony. But he is choosing on a soul level to hurt himself or condemn himself to this type of punishment. And I don't really know why he's doing this. And he is sort of numb or unaware of this. And so he's not choosing to acknowledge it. He's not acknowledging it for himself either. I'm going to give him a gift, which is actually a gift from the person who ordered this session. It's an orb, and it's full of love and adoration for somebody who was kind and generous and wise. but it also brings back the memory of what it is to have connections with human beings. And that's the point of why we come here. We come here to get to know ourselves through the reflections of interacting with others. That's actually part of being human. That's actually like biologically our human balance. You can try to override it all you want, but there's something about how do you attain balance as a human being. You can try to be a spirit all you want. Maybe that works in a Buddhist monastery type thing, but if you're just sort of out here in the community and you just withdraw from people, after a while you kind of lose yourself in it. Just a moment. Things are changing. There's a shift in energy. He is showing me how beneath the surface of all this he is getting brighter. And he's turning into gold, but golden light. Admirable light, he says. He's getting more golden and brighter and full of light. I tell him that's all you had to say. That's all you had to show me. Was simply you needed to define yourself, because I'm feeling the suffering here, that I do resonate with how suffering manifests extraordinary rebirth or awakening of the self. And so I do resonate with that. But I need to continue to watch it to see if it is a self-illusion, like a disillusionment, or if it's truly pure. So let's see. Yeah, hard work. I mean, he works hard at self-discovery, or he works hard at discovery of the soul. He works hard at these things. And he feels rewarded through love and spirit and connection and wisdom. It's not yet time for me to come forth. He's still going through some sort of task, or he's completing some task. I really don't feel that this man is dead. I mean, I actually feel like he's still alive. He's just withdrawn right now, which some really extraordinary spiritual people do that. They withdraw for a while. They go through their thing. They have a learning, and then the heart calls them to come forward again. So it's just, that's just feels like what's going on here. He wants to know if that sounds okay to you. He's feeling warmer, but he also just, there's something really boggy and something just unsettled. There's a rustling leaf. It is unsettled, and you never hear it shake. But the leaf rustles, or it quivers, and it's alone, and there's no other leaves, and the leaf is also like a hand, and there's no other hand. And so in this way, it feels the bitterness of its experience. But it is all on a level of self-punishment or self-torture. He doesn't actually have to go through this in order to accomplish this golden light. He needs to stop this and realize he already is there. But he would say, I'm not yet. So we have to respect that and honor that. Because only his soul then truly knows. And nobody else. Only his soul truly knows when it is time. And they're saying when it is time for him to return. For him to come back into an interaction with the world. That's what it's like. He won't show me the black portal again. He's not going to show me that. Everything's relaxing. Things are relaxing. Quieting down. Winding down. I'm going to go in here. It's a really odd red tube. It makes absolutely no sense, by the way. It's just, there's like some sort of black furry object. This like red tube is sitting at the bottom of the furry object, and it goes up and it kind of spins around, and it's like a silly straw, but it's like a vein or something. But it's accessible from the outside. And I also feel like it's got vulnerabilities. And the oddest part about these vulnerabilities is I want to pick at them. I want to pick at these vulnerabilities, and I want to drive him insane. That's what's coming to me. So I gotta follow through with it so we can learn about it. In fact, I am so sick of it that I choose to, I want to hurt him. And I take my hand and I start pulling on this red tube. And I really want to pull it really hard so he can feel it actually in his head. But I also want to pull it hard enough that he's going to feel it in his heart. He's going to feel it all over his body. And I want to pull it so hard that he's going to scream in agony and pain. Is this me actually hurting him? No, this is me learning about him. So in the process of learning about him, his consciousness is creating this scene or this image so we can understand what is going on in his world. Who is creating this experience for him? Is it he himself doing this to himself through his own actions or choices? Or is he allowing other experiences to pester with him, as in other spirits or something like that? This one consciousness pushes him down and takes the back of his head and back of his neck. It just sort of holds it really tight, and then he takes what is a knife and then just stabs him in the back of his heart many times over and over again. But he really likes to push his whole body, his face, his neck, and everything into the mud, and then likes to stand on him so it's really hard to breathe. Wants to choke him and suffocate him. But I'm telling you, this is also what he is doing to himself on a level. Deep people have really unusual experiences that are very, very unique to those types of very deep frequencies. But what does this exactly mean? I don't know yet. The best I can make of it is this is self-punishment behavior, or he, in his very deep, extraordinary spiritual experience, is having visitors that are doing hard things, hard learning experiences for his soul. And that is why he won't let go of this portal. I don't know why he will not let go of this portal. It's his soul's choice. We love him and accept him and for his choices, but he could let go of this at any time, and he could awaken with a totally new frequency of experiences. But he is insistent that the only way to true enlightenment is to continue going down this really ridiculous, jacked up tunnel. That doesn't make any sense. He insists upon it. I say, what are you going to heal within yourself by putting yourself through this torture? I say, do you even know where the torture began? When it began? Why are you still trying to make amends with a lifetime that is gone now? Why are you still reliving the pain over and over again, even now in your life today? Why are you not letting go of it? Do you see why your soul, it could actually ascend if you would choose to let go of the pain? And you're holding on to the pain from the past, which actually isn't enlightenment. That is fear of letting go, or can't let go. You're holding on or clinging on to something. And it's destroying you inside. I feel it and I know it is there. I tell him this. Everything again relaxes totally. It relaxes like it didn't even happen. Like totally relaxed. We don't even know what that was. Energy just shifted just like that. So let's see what else happens next. I'm telling you, there is something very raw, very sincere, very extremely deep, very soul challenging, soul unrest on a level of soul unrest I do actually believe he's still alive. I just feel like he's very withdrawn from the world and going through some powerful, profound, one of a kind, unique soul experience in his own world. That is my best evaluation on this. But let's see. You also, you, the person who's ordered the session, would actually, I think that you would understand this message. I think you would actually understand this message. I'm gonna do something special for his soul again. I've already shared with him an orb of love and adoration, so he has that blessing and that gift that you want to share. But there's more. There's something else I want to share with him because I need to do this as like there's something about an activation gift that's going to happen under the surface of the skin, and it's going to help him. It's going to be a medicine that you are actually choosing to share with him on this level, and it's going to heal him this time instead of him healing you. Now this time you're healing him, and I feel actually like you needed this. And there's no coincidences in an infinite universe, and it's also a new moon, and apparently there's the event going on. like there's reasons why this is all boiling out down to today, and it's just the right time. I tell him, I say, you know who is here? I'm not saying my name, I'm saying the name of the person who's ordered the session. You say this person loves you and cares about you very much and actually wanted to just make sure you were okay, and no matter where you are or what you are doing, this person just wanted to give you a kind gift of love for your soul. Would you be willing to receive a gift of love today? I have your consciousness in here with myself and Jonathan. He recognizes you. He's a little surprised, but he's also not surprised. He's kind of happy. Like, he's really happy just to see you. It actually brings happiness to his heart to see you. And he shows me a bright sun that also intermixes from a sun into a healthy orange, like a really beautiful, perfect orange off a tree. And it just, like, I don't know why, but it makes me think of like Florida sun-kissed oranges, like the perfect orange. You are a reflection of the perfect orange, but also of a beautiful sunny day. A sunny D. I don't know what it is about orange juice, but it's like keeps intermixing and is creating kookiness with oranges and orange juice. Florida, sun-kissed oranges, sunny D. I don't know, but you're sunny and you're an orange. That you're the perfect orange. And there's something very very wonderful about the flavor of a perfect orange and what that means. Like, it's really like a very positive reaction. Like, it just like goes on and on and on and on and on, like, the perfect orange, the perfect orange, oh my god, oh, it tastes so good, oh wow, the perfect orange came to visit me, like, oh, it's so sunny and bright and beautiful, and the orange orchard, and there's the perfect orange. Like, it goes on and on and on and on and on how happy he is. He's so happy to see you. You bring back a memory. You bring back memories, but you bring back something very special, or kindred, like a kindred spirit kind of thing. He knows your soul from other places, and it just is understood. There's something understood, and he's not surprised that it would be you, and he's happy that it is you. He actually, I do believe that he will have some sort of dream, or like a little bit of a nudge, or like a oh, I was thinking about so and so, and like like I feel like it's actually gonna seep in and give him a little bit of a jingle, like you're calling him on the phone through me. That's kind of what it's like. He doesn't even know what to begin to say to you, he says. He just wants to just look at you and give you a hug and say thank you so much. You have no idea what this means to me. He just and so he does. He actually what he does is he like bends down to give you a hug, but it's like he was lifting you up and squeezing you like an orange, like he's just squeezing you and just like doesn't ever want to let go. He's just so happy. Like he just it's just like one of those moments where you couldn't have asked for something more perfect than this. And it's just like a reunion with somebody who touched your life. And because of what you've been through, that small touch, which was also big at the time, but it might not have felt it as big as it does all of a sudden. Like it's just an overwhelming tidal wave, like tsunami size. About you, well, how you've touched him is now like times a billion, like on a super level, and he just like so awestruck by how happy he is to see you. It's like it's taking him away. Just so happy to see you. It actually puts a little bit of positive juice into his system about love and human connection and the value of smiling and rekindling connections with people, with community, with just with the world. It's it's time now. It's time now. It's time to come back. You also feel this inside your heart. You do. You know that it's time for him to come back as well. I really do not feel like he has passed away. I feel like he's just removed himself, because he's going through some deep stuff, and it's so extreme and such a deep and unheard of level that only he could explore it or tolerate it or understand it in his own world. And it just like totally removed himself, like totally just withdrew, in order to I don't. He does not seem like he does not seem like a suicidal type. And he actually seemed like a super wise type, and he would put himself through like hell, and he would never end his life. I do not feel like he would. But he would have very extreme experience that I don't think many people could actually tolerate it. Hmm. He's continuing. He's still, while I've been talking, he's still just like in awe to see you. It's like seeing an angel or something. Like just like when do you ever stop looking? Just like it's just like just seeing you, like just stand right there and don't say anything and don't move. You're here. Like I'm seeing you, and don't move. I'm seeing you, and if I couldn't have thought of anybody more perfect to come visit me than you. And please just don't move. Just wait a minute. I'm like still taking the moment in, and thank you. Thank you. I feel like you're bringing to life something inside of me, and I can't even begin to describe how invaluable, how meaningful this feels to me. It's breathtaking. It's what he's like right now. He's just like totally captivated, but it's not creepy. It's like it's just a frequency of just you mean something to me on a level. It's not like, oh yeah, you're hot, I'm gonna check you out or whatever. It's like thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for doing this, thank you for doing this. like I can't stop looking at you because of the gratitude and the surprise and the meaning of it all is just taking him away. It's like carrying him away. But it's beautiful. This is the best I've seen of his energy field. Like this is the best, and it's awesome. Again, still the same person, super wise and deep, and where somebody would be like, quit looking at me. why are you feeling offended? Because I'm just so happy to see you. Just please just understand that I'm happy. Like his understanding with love is very pure. They're very balanced. And it wouldn't make sense. Like there is no such thing as jealousy. There's no such thing as creepy. There's no such thing as he just is really in tune with what love means to him, and he would do things that might be a little bit quirky, or just like off the grid, because he's so natural in how he feels love inside and how his personality responds to that. So he's still gazing at you. But it's just like, thank you. Like, it just like he's stuck in the moment of being just so happy. Still, most people would have moved on by now. He is still soaking it up. Again, it's like, okay, what, I feel like he wants to, what's the next thing I say? I mean, I feel like there's not the next thing. I don't know what it is yet. This one makes me feel like, I don't know how to describe it. Have I ever felt this way before? I don't know how you would describe the feeling. It's sort of like you live your life, you're living in a body, but it's missing a key ingredient. And life force energy in the blood, in the muscle tissues, in the bones, in the skin, in the face, the meaning of life pulsing through your veins on a level that the meaning is love, and the meaning is truly what you always wanted it to be. But if the meaning that is what you always wanted it to be is not there, then you're everything but that meaning. So what are you? Again, it's taking me back to what is a soul. There's some sort of imbalance inside, deep inside the soul. But he has got to let go of something. I mean, there is something about him, and he has got to let go of it. But he's so sort of wrapped up in it. He would still see his choices as wise, instead of seeing it as actually stemming from a long time ago, something that happened a long time ago that actually was so loud and such a hardcore blow that it's echo and echo and echo and echo and echo. And now he's living it in a way that it feels like natural life, but he is recreating the echo of an extremely terrifying, absolutely terrible, very loud past life trauma, and recreating it in a new way and saying that this is normal life, and that it's a blessing because of how deep it is taking him into understanding creation and love and all of this stuff. But Spirit Realm is saying, how much more do you need to learn about this? You've been working on this for long enough. You already know all the facts. It hurts. It takes you deep, and it sucks the life force energy out of you. How much more life force energy sucking experiences do you want to have before you say enough is enough? But it's your choice. It's your soul's choice. So they say, Jonathan, you can continue to have your soul's life sucked, the life force energy sucked out of your soul, for the next 10,000 lifetimes. Do you think that is going to make you think that is worth holding on to? The depth of reliving the same experience over and over and over again, just a different way, just from a different angle? Or is it time to say I'm ready? I'm ready to say I'm completed that experience, and now we can heal the entire timeline. It won't ever echo into the future because your soul's on a new thing. So whatever is in the future is totally new energy. It has nothing to do with that event. So now you're truly growing. Otherwise, you're still hanging on to the past. Now you can hang on to the past as long as you want. You can hang on to the past forever. But in the process of hanging on to the past, your soul is wanting to relive in this soul's life force energy sucking moment. It's not healthy. But who am I to say? Not my soul. It's his soul. And his soul is wise. His soul is wise. But there's something called balance, and there's something called how many times. It would be sort of like, let's say your baby runs out in front of a car, you hear it crunch under the car wheel. That's really thin in comparison to whatever this was. This was like something very, very terrifying. That is actually a pretty bad scenario. So you hear your baby crunch under the wheel, and you know your baby, now you're looking at your baby, looks like scrambled eggs. It's freaking you out. And you can't get this out of your head for the rest of the lifetime. But you have to go back to this in the next lifetime. And so you have to learn how to choose acceptance. You have to learn how to forgive yourself for not paying attention or whatever it might be. And so your soul wants to recreate the same experience. So now your soul is reliving it over again, and it's still stuck in the trauma of it. And now your soul says, but I want to relive this experience again. And I want to relive this experience again and again and again and again and again and again. Where it could have actually just cleared it up right then and there by learning about self-love and forgiveness and understanding about life experiences, and not choosing traumatization, choosing how to overcome all of that. How does anybody overcome all of that in one lifetime? But there's something about what he's doing that is on the same level as this. So how many lifetimes does it take reliving the same absolutely sick and disturbing nightmare before you finally say, I choose love now? I'm not going to torture my soul anymore because of something that happened so long ago. I've already worked through this 179 times, and I think my soul's had enough, and I'm done. It's kind of what it's like. Yeah, this is really powerful because this is getting through to him. This message is. I feel him absorbing it into himself, and it's giving him perspective. The question is what happened. So I'm actually gonna just chill out, step back. I'm gonna ask my spirit guides, what can you tell me about that life that would help Jonathan today and help his soul and help him feel like he can return to the light again, and that he can let go of that dark portal, because it is a festering disaster of a wound, but he wants it to linger there with him, and he wants to keep it there with him because it reminds him of something. And I'm telling you, it's not warm and fuzzy, but in his deep way, in his weird symphony of sounds, there's meaning. And the meaning, whether the meaning is super sad and distorted and terrible, it is so loud and so beautiful because the meaning is there. He can't let go of it, but it's actually bad. It's actually like a disturbing thing. He's attracted to it. He's attracted to meaning, and meaning that it could even be extreme and sorrowful and traumatizing and would make people puke to look at it. But his soul was so deep in the experience of it, it created a sound. And his soul keeps coming back to that sound over and over and over again. It's on another level, you could say like the ultimate twin flame soulmate love. A terrible Romeo and Juliet moment. Parting is such sweet sorrow. And so his soul relives that sweet sorrow over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And it just won't ever have enough of it. There's something so beautiful about the sweet sorrow that he'll continue to relive it. But again, I'm telling you, baby crunch under car wheel with sweet sorrow, and it's very, very much so far more disturbing than that. But it's on the same level as sweet sorrow. And it's kind of distracting him from the truth. It's time to stop letting this it's sucking the life out of his soul feeling. He's got to let go of that. He's such a deep person, and a very beautiful array of emotions, understanding about love. Very much, it would definitely be a very wise person. And we all do this. We all have a hard time letting go of stuff. And then some people have a hard time, I don't know, letting go the fact that their hair is turning gray, where other people would have a hard time, letting go of what they would define as the most amazing person they ever met, and it just didn't work out, and now they can't move on, and it's 2 years later, and they only went on 2 dates. Like, but for him, it's like a really old lifetime, and it's like way more dynamic than most people's entire lives times five would be like. That's how like deeply his soul sings this song over and over again. It recreates the memory through other experiences of extreme trauma on a spiritual level. So I'm still trying to get to it. Ask the universe if it's okay that I were to heal this. I have to go to him. I tell this to Jonathan, although I've been speaking this to him the whole time. I show him basically, I have like a box actually, and I hand it to him like a present, but it looks like a dark and gloomy scene. And I say, this is the lifetime that you've been reliving all these years and why you've cut yourself off from the world. Are you ready to come back yet? He opens the lid. He sticks his hands inside. I see him starting to wear like a pinstripe outfit, and it's really grayed out. Very, very grayed out. It reminds me of a Beetlejuice type of something Beetlejuicy and weird. It's really mucky and weird to put your hand in the box. Like, it's mucky mud. It's really slimy and sloppy and weird. Ugh. He takes the box and dumps it out. He shows me that he's wearing like a pinstripe suit, but it's grayed out. Like, it's more gray than any type of dark color. And there's just like a weird flower. It just looks kind of dead. Like, it looks like a Beetlejuice type thing. And he's wearing a female hat, and it's pink. And he looks like a dead person that's living. And it reminds me of Beetlejuice because he's stuck between two worlds, just like Beetlejuice, just like that couple that died in Beetlejuice. They too get stuck between two worlds. They become ghosts in a way. When he dumps this box out, it's all muck and mud that comes out of it. It gets on his shoes, and it's seeped into his shoes, and now every step he takes, he experiences this slimy, squirky, nasty, slippery, gross mud feeling. He doesn't know who he is in this scene. He's sort of acting out of, it's like he's under a hypnosis, and he's just acting as he is called to act. And there's sort of an invisible woman that is arousing his energy field. And he doesn't he doesn't resist her. And he still looks very gross. I mean, he looks like Beetlejuice now. His face, like, he looks like a dead man as he removes his clothes. She enters his body and now becomes him. And they make love together in a spiritual way inside of his body. They're climaxing together. There's not her actually as a ghost on top of him or anything. She's actually inside of his body. Her hands are inside of his hands and all the way down to feet, their heads, So she's inside of his body, but they're using their souls in order to create a climactic experience. And it is extremely felt. The thing is this is not healthy. He has to let go of this. It's actually making him sick. I don't believe this is in this lifetime, but I think he would be familiar with something of this kind. I see that his soul is actually chained to the wall, and his soul is still in this experience. He wouldn't even define it as being raped by her. He would define it as consensual and beautiful, but she's actually sucking the life out of him, and he's getting sick. He doesn't realize it because there's some sort of pure perfume or aroma to the experience when it's also draining him. Because it's sexual, it's hard to tell. And we're going into that lifetime, and he has professed his love for his undying love for her for all eternity, and so a part of his soul is still making love to her, but she's actually raping him. She's putting him under a spell or a hypnosis through sexual energy entering his body, and won't stop doing this. Her soul is like transformed into a seductive demon, but it's very confusing because he would never see her as a demon, ever. Never, ever. And this has been going on for thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years. And his soul is still enduring this. But again, there's a manipulation about it. He's not aware of it, that it's harmful. It feels good, so it must be good. This feels like the thing of the past, but his soul is fragmented into this space. So his soul is still there. His soul fragment is still there, with this spiritual attention that is pleasurable. She shows him and teaches him everything about how blissful love can feel. But it's very strange because I don't know how this is happening. I don't know how she is doing this, and I don't know how he is not noticing. But I see that his soul is like she's inhaling his soul every time she does this, but he has no idea that she's doing that. He can't feel it because the energy of pleasure overrides that. And she just grows stronger and stronger. But it's all an illusion, because if he were to just say no, bam, he pulls all of the parts of himself back into his body, and that soul fragment returns to him in this now moment. I'm actually going to put a stop to this. That's part of my calling. There's all kinds of weird demonic symbols on his back. His body is covered in them. He's starting to feel kind of sick and dizzy and distorted and not right. I actually tell her it's time to go. The fun is over. It's time to go back home. She tells me she will love him forever. And I say, I know, but you're hurting him. She says he wants me. He wants me inside of his body, and I will never say no to him or resist him. I will always go to him, and I will show him everything. I say, but you are still hurting him, so on a level you need to choose to say you love him more. Then the experiences you share together, you need to say, I love you so much that I am going to choose to realize that this is harming you instead of bettering you, and I'm choosing to let go now. She doesn't know what she'll do. She's become so adjusted to this type of vampirism. His soul feels very unusual, very strange, because he has had this hypnosis for so long. In another timeline, in another dimension, his soul fragment is experiencing this for eternity. But eternity is only so long. When did it begin? When did it end? We don't know, because we can heal that moment like it never even happened, but it always will happen, because the history of the universe is always known. Every timeline, there's so much history and so many different versions of the same history, but we're going to help that soul fragment come back, and we're going to just release her soul to the light. He can't get the symbols off of his skin. You can't remove the tattoo. There's different like shapes and things like that, but they're carved into his flesh. He doesn't like them there. She was using these symbols in order to enhance the energy, in order to create more powerful energy through geometric, sacred geometry, so to speak. But because of the frequency from which this is either, this is soul sucking energy, you could call it demonic because it's a vampire experience. But he's under hypnosis, so he can't really feel that. He doesn't really know that that is happening to him. But it is, and he's starting to become aware of it now. She is the parting is such sweet sorrow reflection, but she also is the baby crunch experience. I mean, because this has been really hardcore in his soul. I don't care what anybody says. I know it sounds cool and beautiful and sexy and whatever. This was actually not good for his. This was very draining on his soul. I say, are you a strong enough man to simply say no? He looks down and he sees his genitals are covered in sores, and he shows me they're making love in all different ways. Again, releasing her echo out of his spiritual atmosphere. If see that this passion or love has been many lifetimes. It's sort of really loud and hot as fire. But it's gotten distorted because of the spirit-human relationship. It's gotten off balance. It just was not good. It was not balanced for his soul. Like, I'm still examining this. But it's beautiful, too, at the same odd time because, like, I'm seeing echoes from Egypt. I'm seeing echoes from different places on the planet where these two, as human beings, have made love in extraordinary ways. Super, super beautiful, loud, passionate ways. It's starting to let go. I mean, it's beautiful, but it's also not. It's very disorienting. For my mind, for my emotions, I feel it in his mind and emotions. I feel his soul then is disconnecting. There's like a hard to breathe type of experience going on here. He's just wanting to wake up. What have I been doing to myself? How did I let this happen, kind of thing? But he's still trying to acclimate to his new senses. He's still confused about this. It's hard to breathe still. Part of his consciousness says, I'll never let go of her ever. But he holds steady and says, I must let go of her. Because he has to learn that he will see her again and the soul never dies. But there's something that has caused this to not be healthy. I'm not saying that's always not healthy, but this is really revealing itself that it actually was not good for his soul. Or it was good for his soul because it's learning, but his soul is creating some friction now in today's life, and it's time for him to move on from that in that version of a timeline with a soul fragment in her, and now to bring all of himself back from within her, and then bring this soul fragment back to himself or back to his higher self so he can feel more whole and complete and let go of the parting is such sweet sorrow baby crunch energy. And life is not worth living kind of thing, but I will remain living because life is about love, but I will feel like this forevermore kind of thing. God. It's helping. It's still taking time. It's very disorienting. He is starting to let go of that sore. He is actually, with all of his strength and might, saying, "Get out!" like this. He is still focusing all of his attention on saying no. And he is actually ripping himself out of that space with all of his strength and all of his might because he became numb to it. It just got stuck there. But he's really fighting to get out. And the more he gets out, or the more energy he puts into the choice of getting out, the more free he becomes from her spell, from all of that, whatever it is. And it's actually making a positive impact in the now because this sore thing is getting less and less like it matters. Like, I don't even relate to it. I'm almost there to the point where I don't even know what that was. It was just something weird I saw. Because the energy feels so purified, it just doesn't exist there anymore. We don't even know what that was. Because it doesn't relate anymore, because the soul got through that experience, it's done with that lesson now. And that lesson was a hard one, and it took a very long time. And it's still affecting him today. It's like trying to break yourself out of an ice cube, but it's not cold. And it's frozen. It's like, how do you get yourself out of this? That's what it's like. It's on that level. It's weird like that. And just being patient for a moment. He's feeling a lot better, still better than ever before. It feels less and less like the value. It feels like I'm okay again. It feels like, I mean, the whole symphony and harmony is changing. It feels so much better. He feels like he's been blessed with like an enlightenment within him that's giving brightness inside of himself, new clarity, new wisdom, that he can finally move on from that whole experience. It feels like it's time to move on. It's time to move forward. It's time to move upward. It's time to feel free. It's time to embrace your gifts. Is what I say to him. It's time. All of this stuff. You're too wonderful. You're too wise. You're too caring. You're too loving. Not to share that gift with a world who is ready to embrace it. Because I feel like the world truly is, today, ready for that. Where 10 years ago, it still was not, it was still kind of thinking about it, but I mean, Reiki comes out and people are kind of into that. We're thinking more about alien beings. But now, like, let's be real here. It actually feels like a lot more people are sinking their teeth into this new spiritual age and what all this means and different ways of thinking. And in a world that I feel like he would really be embraced by. And he just needs to let that go, which he is. He actually feels like he's totally let go of it. But it takes time to transition through all that stuff. But it's going to happen now. And it's going to give him the medicine he needs to move on and to move upward and beyond. Which I feel like he has a purpose to return to this world and participate here, actually participate and interact and be involved and rejoice and love the whole experience and celebrate, and it was well worth it, kind of thing. And I don't even remember what that was about because I'm not even on that page anymore. I'm just so happy now, and that's all I care about, and that's all that's really worth living for. I got through that, and now I'm done, and I'm ready to be me for the world, heal the world with my love, share my messages, and just be that. That's what he feels like. So that's it. That's all I can share. I'm just coming back to my body, just disconnecting from his spiritual atmosphere. All right. Well, there we have it. This gift that you've shared with Jonathan, I really feel strongly that it's going to make a very big and meaningful difference in his life, and that he will have an awareness through a dream or through some weird recollection of you, and it's going to spark something. And his deep consciousness is, it's all this stuff is working underneath the surface, and it's going to give him all that booster that he needs to move into the next phase of his life. I feel like it's time for the next phase of his life, whatever that means. So it's like he's been through a testing phase. He's trying to clean this up. His soul is still working on letting go of this, and now it is. And now it's time. And now it's time to come back to the world again. I really feel like that is the case. So thank you for exploring this. It's a very interesting experience. And thank you for sharing openly on YouTube too. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be perplexed and contemplating what this means. So thank you for that. And for those of you watching, if you're interested in having a psychic experience with me, please visit me at my website at abbeynormalswisdomquest.com. Thank you all, and I wish you all a wonderful day.